Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Shama Ashram in Cali, Colombia, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das, Kaustubha Prabhu. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Srimad Bhagavatam study. And Kaustubha, why don't you tell everybody what we did yesterday, why we had to cut out early yesterday?
Oh, why we had to cut it out? I've never done anything like this in my entire life, Raghunath. This is very far out. We went way up into the mountains, and you get to this place where the roads sort of end, I suppose, or something like that. And we had to cross a bridge like with this rickety kind of like you kind of walk the thing and it's shaking all over the place, right? Like where you're hanging onto the wires.
Yeah.
And then you get across, and then you get to this train tracks. And there they had something called witch cars. I think I finally figured out why they're called witch cars.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to go in a witch car. We're going to go in a witch car. It's like, why don't you just tell us what we're going to do?
What's the witch car?
We're going to go to, right? We're going to go to witch. They were talking about these witch cars for like an hour.
Yeah. But you know what it is? Anyway, I'll describe what it is first. They have the train tracks. And then on the train tracks, you have this like little platform that's on the tracks, like with some wheels. It's like, I don't know. It's not very big. It's like a couple pallets or something like that.
It's like right out of a cartoon with those pumping things, but not those pumping
but
things,
there's no
but like a pallet.
Thing. Yeah, there's
a
pallet. And then on that, they have a couple like very simple benches. And then you sit on those benches. And then in the back, they have a motorcycle. And the front of the motorcycle is on the platform. And the back tire of the motorcycle is on one of the rails of the railroad rails. And so they line up about 5 of them for us or something like that.
Yeah.
6, something like that. And then you sit on this bench and you're flying through the jungle. And I think that's why it's because like a witch, the way it flies is kind of surreal. It's just like it's on this broom and it's just like,
Well, I think it's because they used to, before the motorcycles, they used to use sticks.
How could they have done that?
That's why
they would have
they
been
call
so
them
hard.
witches.
I think it's because it's almost like you're sitting on a broom, like flying or something like that. Like there's nothing to hold on to.
Or a broomstick.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, so you get on this bench, and basically you're flying through the jungle on a bench, and it's incredibly lush and beautiful up there. And you go for 40 minutes just like flying through the jungle. Then you get off.
You're going, first of all, it's like 40 minutes deep into the center of the jungle.
Yeah. It was beautiful. I've never been in the jungle quite like that before. And
By the way, I'm posting pictures on Instagram, but they're just not loading.
Cool. All right. And then you get off at the end of it, and then you walk for a while, and then you get the inner tube, and you go into the water, and then you're floating down a beautiful clear river. Like the water is like crystal clear, but it has a green tint because you're just so surrounded by like greenery, right? Like massive walls of like ferns and incredible trees. There's not a car. There's not a telephone pole or a telephone wire, electrical wire. There's
You're in
nothing
the jungle,
but
man.
jungle.
You're in the jungle. Yeah. I saw a toucan.
You see birds, you hear different animals, and you're just floating through the most scenic, thick, lush jungle you can imagine. And then we stopped at a certain place and we were swimming and diving off the cliffs. People were doing backflips. It was just beautiful.
When we say people, we mean not us.
No, that was us. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean
We
not
do
you and me?
yeah, not you and me.
Yeah, the kids were doing, especially the
kids.
kids. Right? Or, yeah, and so it was. I found, you know what? When I'm in that thick of that kind of thick jungle, which I've never been before, I just can't help. You know what I was thinking of, Raghunath?
What?
Ramayana.
What are you thinking of the Ramayana? I was thinking of Mayapur. It reminded me of Mayapur. It had a Mayapur vibe.
It did have a Mayapur vibe. And Mayapur is in West Bengal, a place that we visit. But Mayapur is more civilized, right? Like that was just out there in the middle of nowhere. You know,
It was
Mayapur,
very
this
like
yeah.
uncivilized, and there was like
Yeah.
a village. There was a village that you can't get to by car in there. It was very interesting.
But when you're going down that
basically
river,
basically the economy runs on tubing, and and visitors coming and tubing, and that's their tubing economy.
but there aren't even that many. I think there's aside from us, we may have saw like I don't know 6 other
Well,
people.
I got a feeling tourism's been hit. You
Yeah,
know, because no one was there except maybe 6 other people. But I will say, in this village, after the village, first of all, the train ride was pretty unsafe,
Which car?
but pretty fun.
Yeah,
Right, the
which
train
car?
ride was pretty unsafe. That would have never flew in the United States.
No.
Too many liabilities, lawsuits. It was
I mean,
worse.
You could put a
if you've
railing
ever
around
been to
or something.
Action Park in New Jersey, it was much dangerous than that. Much more dangerous than that. But it was super fun. You're going fast. We're going like 50 or 45. That was especially on the way back. We're going through tunnels. Then there was the beautiful that river experience, cruising down a river. And then there was like, I say the best meal I've had actually in that restaurant out there.
I'm not with you on that, but in any case.
You're not with me on that? You don't like that
No.
restaurant? You don't like that salad? And I was breaking my
won't get into
fast. So
it. But yeah,
oh my God, I thought the salad was next level. The lemonade made of the juggery and the soup.
Yeah. But all that being said, you know, when I'm flowing down, I'm thinking of, you know, the sages, they would live in those jungles. They would do their rituals and they would live there and do their meditation. You know, that's what I was getting the feeling like Ramayana, you know, out there. Just like when who was it? Vashishta that came and picked up, you know, came into the kingdom, and Datsarath, Ram's father.
Yeah.
It's like anything that you want, just tell me, I'll give it to you. You know, I
want your son.
I want to take your son with me. And then he just can't handle that.
Vishwamitra.
Oh, it was a Vishwamitra, okay. And then Vishwamitra is just like, you promised me anything that I want. And
want
now
your
you're
son.
going back on your promise. But the whole thing was all Krishna's arrangement, because Ram was meant to go out there into the jungle, help the sadhus who are out there in the jungle, do their services, and then meet Sita and the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
But
jungle living, it's a whole nother thing.
And, you know, also what I was thinking, Raghunath, is that this is the lung of the earth right here, right? I mean, the lushness of where do you see such thick vegetation? It's like beautiful, and it's just all part of Krishna's beautiful arrangement to you know, create proper air for us. And us, like idiots, are like, you know, just burning them down like crazy so that we can have meat, and just so that we can, for other absurd reasons, you know. Got to preserve
that
these
being
forests.
said, That being said, I had a squirrel. I squirreled off last night when I got back, and I was like, Colombia, jungle. So I started Google searching Colombia jungles. I came up with this incredible thing called, you could YouTube search this, Jungle Mystery, Lost Kingdoms of the Amazon. And there was some, I think, militant group guarding parts of the jungle not far from where we were yesterday. Okay. And just in 2020, they found this incredible ancient city that archaeologists haven't even messed with. And anyway, check that one. That's sort of interesting. It's like just ancient, what do you call wall murals depicting just sort of like next level prehistoric beasts living side by side with humans. Okay. And then somehow that I got clicked out of that. Ever do that on YouTube? You get clicked out of that. Next thing you're watching some other show you don't even know. Then I got into the world's most dangerous journey, which is people from all over the world coming to Colombia because, you know, Colombia borders, it's a rainforest bordering another rainforest in Panama.
Are you about to kill our future retreats? What are you doing here?
World's most dangerous hike. No, they do these hikes through the jungle to get to, you know, people are trying to get to the United States. Very interesting documentary I fell asleep watching last night.
Okay.
Okay. But
Anyway,
I
it
had
was a wonderful time, and it was
great
a nice
time.
bonding time. The other thing I was thinking about, Raghunath, because when we were all swimming together, Lord
Yeah.
Chaitanya's pastimes. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's so many water pastimes where all the bhakti yogis are together. They're having fun in the water.
They're
We were
singing,
doing
they're having kirtan, they're eating,
it, and that's what we were doing.
and they're having water lila.
Water
We had a
lila.
great kirtan on the bus yesterday, didn't we?
I think so. It was a great kirtan, beautiful kirtan.
Bus
Many
kirtans are
different
great.
people led.
Right.
You led. Who else led? Eileen
Damodar
led. Beautiful
Priyaji,
kirtan.
Eileen
Damodar
read,
Priya. Yeah, it was
Bunky
great.
led.
Bunky.
And we had a great kirtan the night before. It was really nice. I'm looking forward to today. It's just like everybody, kirtan's taken. There's something powerful about kirtan. It
No
just takes the consciousness
question.
to the next level.
It does. It would be ordinary without that. In one sense, yesterday you could have just chalked it up to one of your big deals, but because it's with the Vaishnavas, because we're doing kirtan, it uplifts
You know what?
the whole thing too.
That's a good point. If you're unfamiliar with big deal, so what? That is sort of like material life, even in its greatest thing, is just like a big deal. It's like, we've been to a beautiful beach. Big deal. It's like I've been to beautiful beach. It's like it's going to be over soon, and then something else is going to happen. But it's the environment, the bonding with the people, and it's just like, what I thought yesterday. It's like the material world. They use this analogy in the Vedas that even our family members whom we love, they come towards us almost like they say like twigs in a creek. So imagine a creek, and sometimes, especially after a flood, some like random pieces of grass or twigs, they come together, then they hit a current or a cascade and they split apart. And then other ones come together and they split apart. And that's how our life journey is. We've been married, we've been divorced, we've had boyfriends and girlfriends, some for many years. We leave them. We have our children grow up, we don't see them. Somebody is born, somebody dies. Our life is like that. Our life's journey is like that. In this lifetime, they say, and in lifetimes. Sometimes also we're saying we travel in packs. We re-meet people that we've connected to, or some people just sort of hover around us like satellites, maybe our entire life.
Where is this going? How's it?
This is going to the river, my friend.
Okay, let's hear it.
The river. Without planning, I'd bump into Megan's tube or Eileen's tube or Camila's tube, and I wasn't planning on it. We just bump into each other, and then you're got a new friend, and you're talking to them, and you're connecting with them, and you're having, you're bringing up things, and how are you doing? Deep conversation. Then a current hits you, a rock splits you apart, and you're like, later, we're getting divorced. It's over. I loved you for a moment, and now it's gone. And it's just like it's the tubes.
Oh, so you're
life.
tying. I see. Okay, I get
the tubes of life, my friend.
In other words, sometimes the tubes are coming together. Sometimes, and that was happening. And then sometimes you're floating down with one person, and you kind of bounce away from them.
And then you hit a rock, and you never see them again.
So
and then they get caught up by a current. You get caught up by a tree.
I see. You
Water
turn the whole
snake takes
thing
you
into
down.
an existential kind of life lesson.
You got to look deeper, Kaustubha. It's there if you look for it. You got to go deeper than a fun river ride.
Okay, thank you. You're right.
Yeah. The souls are coming together, splitting apart, coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this material existence. Huh?
Little Amalini and I, we were trying to stay together the whole time,
Yeah, that's what happens in the material world. We try to stay together, and cruel material world just splits you apart.
It does. And that's going to be part of the theme today, Raghunath, is that there are powers higher than us. And even though we resist admitting it. Right?
There are powers. And that is the most fascinating thing that I think people who are like hate spirituality. There's just people that hate spirituality. And by the way, whenever you hate something, for me, red flags go up. Like, why do you hate it? Matter of fact, I've made so many people who hate spirituality that get into bhakti. Because it's sort of like they're so adverse. There's something in them that, it's a personal deity, an organization. You don't need, right? Bhagavatam explains it for those people who have that repulsion. It's usually a sign of they're interested and they just want to go. They just need to be convinced somehow. Bhagavatam is that convincer. It's so broad.
Oh, I see what you're saying. In other words, there's enough there to kind of like answer all the questions, even though there's some resistance.
Yeah. Sometimes people have resistance. They just want to know.
Okay. All right.
That's what we're know. Oh, so my point was that it's those people who say, "Yeah, I don't believe in a higher power." It's like, come on, people, really? That's your opening gambit for there's no God. Like, what about the wind? The wind is a higher power, people. The
See how
sun is a
long you
higher
survive
power.
in that jungle before you realize there's higher powers.
There's higher powers. You're not going to spend some time in nature.
Yeah, that's right.
The Pantera.
Yeah, the
The
Pantera jumps on you. It's a higher power.
Yeah. If it jumps on you, it's a higher power. All right, Prabhu.
Mara. Mara, note that down. If it jumps on you, it's a higher power.
Got it.
Jumps on you. That's going to be my tattoo.
It could have a picture of a Pantera.
Pantera.
I tell you, when you're floating down there, you're just like, there's got to be a jungle cat just right.
Well, you know why? Because my
right
obsession with animal attack videos, I watch, and that's how Panteras attack. They stay and they stalk on the riverside and they wait for crocs.
That's what Sita. That's what the dog Sati does. Sham Sundari's dog. Whenever someone was jumping in the water, jump on their head.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like Pantera in the last life.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, we made it out safe.
Mara, are there any announcements for today?
Yeah, we have Bhakti Recovery Group. The men are meeting at 11 a.m. today and the women at 2. And then also the last of your Bhagavatam classes for our Patreon members at 10 a.m. to noon today.
10 a.m. to noon. The first 3 are already posted on Patreon for Patreon members.
All right, Patreon peeps. Join the Patreon party, patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages.
Okay.
All right. Mara, hit it.
Mara.
You want to start with the invocations?
You want to start with the...
Yeah, is that yours? So, like, no, you hit it. Is that what you were? Is that what you meant
That's
to
a polite
say?
way
Okay,
of saying,
I'll hit
Raghu,
it, and then
that's
you
not how
hit
it works.
Okay. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Midatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes. With the torchlight of knowledge, I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Mara.
Reading from Canto 4, Chapter 6, Text 7.
Okay. A little context here. You know what happened in the last chapter, Raghunath?
Yeah.
It's exactly what we're just talking about. Daksha and his brahmanas, they thought they were really powerful. But you know what got proven?
What?
Lord Shiva is more powerful.
Yeah, Lord Shiva is more powerful.
There's always someone more powerful, right? Until you get up to sweet baby Krishna, he's just crawling around on the ground, just looking innocent, but actually there's no one more powerful than him.
And he's Ishwara. Otherwise, there's just little gradation. I mean, there's a higher power in this room. Someone smarter than me, stronger than me, more capable than me, more mathematical than me, more artistic than me. There's always higher powers.
Just admit it, right? We just got to admit it.
There's a higher power.
Yeah.
Just it's almost ridiculously arrogant to say there's no higher power.
True. And so
you're the higher power. Give me a break.
Yeah, you know. So it was proven that Lord Shiva was more powerful than all these brahmanas. They even when imagine how powerful Bhrigu feels when he can just like chant a mantra and throw something into the fire and like an army comes out of it. You know how powerful he feels. But the next thing he knew, he was getting his mustache ripped out. He wasn't the higher power.
Vedic torture.
Yeah, and it's just like actually in these classes I've been given, I've been using this analogy of how like a little child is spoiled, right? He's like, you take a little child that's spoiled. He's ignorant. He's thinking that the whole world revolves around him. And when things don't go just his way, he starts to yell and scream and get upset, And then the parents, they say, well, we've just been letting him get away with too much, and he's he's just in ignorance now. There's got to be a little training so that he realizes, one, there's a higher power that you answer to, right? And then the parents say, look, if you're going to continue to misbehave, there's going to be a certain, results to that, certain punishment that you're going to get. Then you're going to suffer. I don't want you to have to endure that. But if you continue to behave that way, then the higher power will have to step in and correct you. And really, our life is just a series of repeating lessons designed to help us face the fact that there are forces that are more powerful than us, right? There's material nature. Right?
That was a great statement. Did you write that down? Or that just flowed out of your mouth.
It flowed just like a river, Raghunath, as the song goes. Go ahead.
Say that again. Sing that song. Remember what you said.
You can sing that song again. I said, yet life is a series of repeating lessons designed to help us face the fact that there are forces more powerful than us. One lesson after another, right?
I like that. Hashtag that whole damn thing.
And sometimes, it's the material energy. In other words, we're like that child that's ignorant, that doesn't want to admit that there's anyone more powerful, and then the parents come in and they prove it. And the law of karma works that way. Material nature works that way. The time factor works that way.
Time factor works that way.
All right? So we spend our whole life just trying to prop up this false image of ourselves and material nature for our good, for our benefit, in so many varieties of different ways, forces us to, can you anticipate what I'm going to say?
Either surrender or
no, that's
let
what
go.
I'm looking for. But there was a particular, well, that's another song. I was looking for a song title. Oh. It's one of your favorite songs. That material nature forces us to think.
Straight and alert.
No.
Straight alert. I don't know what you're talking about. What's my favorite song?
Think gender bender.
What? Where are you going?
Boy George.
Oh, bow down, mister.
There you go.
Bow down, mister.
There you go. Bow down,
That's
mister.
a great song. It is one of my favorite songs. But you know what? If you've listened carefully to the shows, whenever there's a song, I'll say, this has to be one of my favorite songs. I say that about a lot of my songs.
But Bow Down Mister, it really is.
Yeah, if you haven't heard the Culture Club Bow Down Mister, it's Boy George wrote that song in Vrindavan at Radhakund.
It's crazy. The holiest place in the universe.
Boy George was there making it a hit song.
Amazing. So anyway, that is, that's what's happening here. Let's read a bit about, let's go ahead and read text 6 again. Now, what's happened is these brahmanas, Daksha, had his head cut off. And the rest of the brahmanas are totally humiliated and humbled. Lord Shiva's power overcame them. All his, in their eyes, low-class goblins, just tore up their whole thing.
I've met a few low-class goblins before. Not to be confused with the higher-class goblins.
There's a higher-class goblin, but these are like low-class goblins, and they were just like tearing the place up. And now they're humiliated, they're defeated, they don't know what to do. Their whole position in life is confused now because their whole thing is tied into their religious rituals, and it's part of who they are and what gives them power and so on. And now that's all been destroyed, and now they're going to Lord Brahma, who is the voice of reason, who didn't make the same kind of mistakes, didn't get involved, and they go to him and they're saying, help us now. And in text 6, Lord Brahma advises them. We read it yesterday. You want to read it again, text 6?
Text 6, Lord Brahma also...
Nope. He froze up on us, Raghu.
The planets and their chief controllers can be destroyed immediately. Also, he said that Lord Shiva was especially sorry because he had recently lost his dear wife and was also very much afflicted by the unkind words of Daksha. Under the circumstances, Lord Brahma suggested it would behoove them to go at once and beg his pardon.
That's right. So in other words,
this whole thing.
Go there and bow down, mister. Right.
Bow down, mister. You got to say you're sorry. You hurt someone's feelings. You got to say you're sorry.
Yeah.
The devotee does not take offense, but Lord Vishnu takes offense. It wreaks havoc on our spiritual life.
That's right. And in the previous text, in text 5, we spoke about this yesterday, but he used this term, parishuddha chetasaha, that you're supposed to go there and bow down, mister. But when you bow down, you do it parishuddha chetasaha. Pari Do you know what pari means, Raghunath?
Putty, like go around.
P-A-R-I, to go around, right? Or to
Go around.
Even
Like
in the yoga,
parikrama, like parikrama, steps
parikrama.
that go around.
That's right. So you go completely around something, or that's also used in.
Sanskrit point, Raghunath.
Well, can you tell me where else that is that prefix, Sanskrit prefix, is commonly used?
Parijata flower,
Yeah. Well, okay.
circles,
There's that.
circling
What
color.
else? What else?
Parigraha, pari. I don't know. Pari.
Think yoga asanas. It's commonly used in yoga asanas, right? Parivrita, trikonasana, parivrita.
Parivrita, twisting
Yeah,
pose.
yeah, because you're
Parivrita.
going around in a sense, right?
Yeah,
So,
very cool.
so shuddha means pure, and parishuddha means completely pure, right? Like, in other words, when you go around something, you go completely around it. It's like it means like fully, right?
Yeah.
So with chaitasa, with the mind that's parishuddha, completely pure, or Prabhupada translated as without mental reservations, right? When you apologize, he gave them a really important point, right? It's like he didn't just say, okay, you got defeated, Lord Shiva is more powerful than you. You're going to have to go and humiliate yourself and say, I'm sorry. What he said was, actually, you offended someone, and in your mind, when you apologize, it should be without mental reservations. It should be 100% with complete conviction and go full-hearted into it, and really mean what you say. Your mind shouldn't have some like, I'm going to have to apologize, although I don't really mean it.
Right.
It should be, you should be 100% invested with your body, with your mind, with your words in this apology. And then it'll be effective, and he'll accept it, and you'll be purified through this. You will have actually grown through this process. Which is and just like all these things in life, these are every challenge that we face in life is actually there to help us grow. So he was informing them, not only do it externally, but internally as well. Make this a full, a complete apology. Okay, which brings us to text 7.
Text 7. We go backwards before we go forwards with the Bhagavatam.
Did I take a step back? Let me take a step forward.
Lord Brahma said that no one, not even himself, Indra, or all the members assembled in the sacrificial arena, or all the sages, could know how powerful Lord Shiva is. Right? He's unfathomable.
Unfathomable.
Under the circumstances, who would dare to commit such an offense at his lotus feet?
Big mistake.
Yeah, this is Brahma talk. Wait, this is Brahma said. After this, see, it's confusing because Shiva apparently takes birth from Brahma.
He does.
So it's a little confusing, but Brahma's saying it himself. Now, Shiva's unique. I can't even understand how unfathomable this personality is.
Right.
Text 8. After thus instructing the demigods, the Pitas, that's the forefathers, and the lords of the living entities, Lord Brahma took them with him and left for the abode of Lord Shiva, known as Kailash Hill.
That's nice, though. Think about that, Raghunath, right? Like Brahma sort of said, just go see him. You guys got yourself in a mess. But he went with them. He could have said, not my circus, not my monkeys, right? He could have just been like, you guys got yourself in a big mess.
I've never heard that expression.
You never heard that before?
Not my circus, not my monkeys. I'm
Not
going
my
to use
circus.
that today.
I thought you would like that. Not my circus, not my monkeys, right? You guys got yourself in a mess. I'm not involved. Everything's cool over here where I am. You just go ahead and deal with it. No, he said, I'm going with you. I'm going to, hold your hand through this process. Oh, you know what happens now, Raghunath? We're going to
tell me.
Now we hear a long series of verses. I don't know, like 15 verses or something like that describe Mount Kailash, the home of Lord Shiva.
Do you have any desire to do Prikram around Mount Kailash?
You mean
the actual Mount Kailash on this planet?
That would be an adventure.
Borders China. It's a whole trek just to get there, but I'm getting into it. I've been researching it.
Well, Satyananda Maharaj did it.
Yep. Indrajumna Swami's done
They
it.
say it's not unusual that someone on the tour goes a little crazy on that.
Right. Maybe I'll get sane. Reverse my psychosis.
That's like way up there too, and I don't think you can just take a witch car to get up there. It's like
No, you can't take a witch card. Anyway, that's on my bucket list. Kailash Parikram.
Kailash. Okay.
Takes a few days. You got to camp out. It's super austere.
Okay. So we're gonna hear about the Kailash, but I think this is like the Kailash in the heavens, or something. I don't know. I never.
Well,
get
I think
that, right?
I think these like Himalayas, they have like a celestial
Earthly,
realm they have an earthly realm and a celestial realm.
Yeah, the connection somehow, right?
Okay, text 9. The abode known as Kailash is full of different herbs and vegetables and is sanctified by Vedic hymns and mystic yoga practice.
Yeah.
Thus, the residents of that abode are demigods by birth and have all mystic powers. Besides them, there is no other human beings who are known at no other human beings.
There are other human beings.
There are other human beings known as Kanaras and Gandharvas. These are like angel-like beings
These are
and
aliens.
are accompanied by their beautiful wives, who are also known as apsaras or angels. By the way, many people have ascended Everest in the Himalayas
and seen these beings.
No,
but I was sure
no
that's
one
where
has
you were
ever
going.
ascended. No one's ever ascended Kailash.
No one's ever ascended Kailash.
No one's ever ascended Kailash.
Yeah, because it's like maybe it's impossible for us to.
I think it's. I don't know. They just say no one can figure it out.
I mean, look at here. It's what it's saying is that everybody there has mystic yogic powers.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Kailash is full of mountain. Kailash is full of mountain-filled. Kailash is full of mountains filled with kinds of valuable jewels.
All kinds of valuable jewels. Oh, you don't have your glasses today. That's what's going on here.
and minerals, and surrounded by all very varieties of valuable trees and plants. The top of the hill is mostly nicely decorated by
Should I be
various
reading this,
types
Raghunath?
of deer. Give me another chance. Give me another chance. There's a lot of deer there. Mm-hmm. There are many waterfalls, and in the mountains there are many beautiful caves in which the very beautiful wives of the mystics are found. Amazing. On Kailash Hill, there's always the rhythmical sound of the peacock's sweet vibrations, and the bees humming, and cuckoos are always singing, and other birds whisper amongst themselves. Peacocks can live in cold weather. You know that? Yeah. Even the Indian blue, which is the most famous of all peacocks.
The Indian blue, you say?
Yeah, there's all different kinds of peacocks. The famous ones are the Indian blue.
Okay.
There are tall trees with straight branches that appear to call the sweet birds. And when herds of elephants pass through the hills, it appears that Kailash Hill moves with them. When the waterfalls resound, it appears that Kailash Hill does also.
More about
the whole of Kailash Hill is decorated with various kinds of trees, of which the following names may be mentioned: Mandara, Parijata, Sharala, Tamal, Tala, Kovidara, Asana, Arjun, Amrita Jati. That's a mango.
Also known as the mango.
Amrajati. Kadamba, Duli Kadamba, Naga, Punaga, Champak, Patala, Ashoka, Bakula, Kunda, Kurabaka. The entire hill is decorated with such trees, which produce flowers and fragrant aromas. There are other trees also which decorate the hill, such as golden lotus flowers, the cinnamon tree. Ever seen a cinnamon tree, Kaustubha?
I've never seen one up close, but the cinnamon is the bark from that tree, right?
Yeah, that's quite fascinating, cinnamon trees.
Amazing that
and they're curled. Grown. They're curled. Like you get a clove of, like not a clove, a thing of cinnamon.
Yeah.
A stick of cinnamon. That's how the bark grows.
Cinnamon stick. Yeah.
Kubja, Malika, and Madhavi. Kailash Hill is also decorated with such trees as Kata, jackfruit, Julara, banyan trees, Plaksha, Nyagrodhas, and trees producing asafoetida. That's it. I thought asafoetida. Okay. I thought asafoetida was a root.
No.
Anyone know?
No, Bobby's saying it is not a root.
It's not a root?
It's a resin, I believe. It's a
resin.
resin.
Put it on the board. Oh, it's a resin.
Yeah, it's a resin.
Interesting. Also, there are trees of betel nuts and burjapatra, as well as rajapuga, blackberries, and similar other trees.
Rajapuga, the king of
pugas.
Puga. Don't know what that is.
There are mango trees, priyala trees, maruka, and inguda. Besides these, there are many other trees like this, bamboo,
And bamboo.
Kitchika, and varieties of other bamboo trees, all decorating the hill. You know what I do a lot, Kaustubha? I
Yeah.
YouTube search Kailash Prikram, Badrinath Prikram, Kedarnath Prikram. I just want to see people going on Prikram to these places and see what it's like. Like I know all about Kailash, at least from this planet. You know, maybe I don't know the ones with mystical visions, but I think by going to these places, eventually you get allowed in. That's my hope. So I study them on YouTube for in my free time. I'm getting ready.
I'm happy to hear that it's not always like car crashes or wedding fails or animals eating other animals or MMA knockout accidents or things like that.
There are varieties of deer such as Carnum nrita,
Carnantra.
echipods. What? A tip deer called echipod, one-footed deers?
A one-footed deer.
Hopping around. Asvasya, vrika, and kasturi. Ah, we know what the kasturi is. That is the kasturi
that's the musk deer.
The musk deer. That's the kasturi. The deer which bear. Oh, it just says so right afterwards. I'm thinking like Prabhupada.
Oh, there you go.
The deer which bears musk. Besides the deer, there are many banana trees which decorate the small hillside lakes very nicely.
This reminded me of yesterday going through the jungle.
Yeah. There is a small lake named Alakananda in which Sati used to take her bath. And that lake is especially auspicious. All the demigods, after seeing the specific beauty of Kailash Hill, were struck with wonder at the great opulence to be found there. Thus, the demigods saw the wonderfully beautiful region known as Alaka in the forest known as Sogandika, which means full of fragrance.
Yeah,
the forest
means fragrance, right?
Yeah.
Good fragrance.
Sogandika, yeah. The forest is known as Sogandika because its abundance of lotus flowers. They also saw the two rivers named Nanda and Alakananda. These two rivers are sanctified by the dust of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, Govinda. My dear Shata, Vidura.
That's interesting. They just throw Govinda in there, right?
Yeah. Well, it came down for the lotus feet of Vishnu. They're accepting that Vishnu's Govinda. And that's how the Ganga descended, and it became, it broke into branches on Shiva's head, Alakananda. That's where I took that. Did you?
Well, where I took it was, why are we hearing this description? I mean, it's a good question to ask, and I don't know if I can fully answer it, but it's not uncommon that in Bhagavatam that you get these long these descriptions of natural beauty.
I'm sorry.
Well, so you had all these, these humiliated brahmanas, and now they're going to make their apology to Lord Shiva. Their life is a mess, and now they're going to the abode of Lord Shiva, and it's describing where Lord Shiva lives. And now Lord Shiva is like this person that's spiritually on a higher level than them. He's fully devoted and always in deep meditation on Lord Krishna. And so as we start to approach, well, where does Lord, we just saw how powerful Lord Shiva is. If he's that powerful, he can choose where he wants to live, right? Where does he choose to live? It's a place of incredibly, pristine natural beauty. But that natural beauty is also related to Krishna. So he wants to be in that place where everything's reminding him of Krishna. So it says they also saw two rivers. Those two rivers are sanctified by the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, right? So that means Krishna. So that's where he chooses to live.
I just like how it gives you a little glimpse, like looking in a window of the spiritual world also.
Yeah.
Where do you hear stuff like this?
It's beautiful.
Text 25. My dear Vidura, the celestial damsels come down to those rivers in their airplanes with their husbands and their after sexual enjoyment. Having sex up there.
And after sexual enjoyment.
Oh, and after sexual enjoyment, they enter the water and enjoy sprinkling their husbands with water. A little splashing going on.
A little water pastimes. Yes. A little
post-sex
and the
splashing.
Afterglow there. Yeah.
I've been there, done that. Hare Krishna.
Move on, please.
Let's go splash now. What are you talking about? To the damsels of the heavenly planets bathe in the water, it becomes yellowish and fragrant due to the kumkum from their bodies.
The powders that they wear.
Yes. Thus, the elephants come to bathe there with their wives, the she elephants, and they also drink the water, although they are not that thirsty.
Yeah, because it's so fragrant, because these beautiful celestial people have been in the water. I guess.
The airplanes of the heavenly denizens are bedecked with pearls, gold, and valuable jewels. The heavenly denizens are compared to clouds in the sky, decorated with occasional flashes of electric lightning.
Okay, now hold it, Raghunath. These airplanes, they're bedecked with pearls, gold, and valuable jewels.
Yeah, this isn't like the Concorde or Delta or United Airlines.
It wasn't like the flight that I came over on.
No.
Right? So Srila Prabhupada, he writes here in the commentary.
I wonder if they had to wear masks in their airplanes.
I don't think they did. And Prabhupada is writing here about these airplanes, which are called, in Sanskrit?
I'm not looking at that. My eyes are just read it. What?
You know what it is. It's one of these things that you're fascinated by.
Pushpa. What are they
Vimanas.
Pushpa Vimanas.
Yeah, it's they call these airplanes Vimanas. They're written about all over the ancient. They're talking about planes that can fly around. Now, Prabhupada's going to help us understand when they say planes, don't picture this aluminum tube that's like making these horrible
metal
sounds and burning fuel.
Yeah.
So here it goes. Commentary from Prabhupada. The airplanes described in this verse are different from the airplanes of which we have experience. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in all the Vedic literatures, there are many descriptions of Vimana, which means airplanes. On different planets, there are different kinds of airplanes. On this gross planet Earth, there are airplanes run by machine. But on other planets, the airplanes are run not by machine, but by
mind.
Mantric hymns.
Mantric hymns, okay.
They are also used especially for enjoyment by the denizens of the heavenly planets so that they can go from one planet to another. You accept all this?
Who cares about electric cars? You know, let's get a car that runs by mantric. Right? Fill it up with mantric hymn, please.
Chant a few mantras. I got to be on my way.
Yeah.
On the other planets, which are called Siddhalokas, what does that mean, Siddhalokas?
Planet of perfected beings.
That's right. The denizens can travel from one planet to another without airplanes, so they don't even need the airplanes. The beautiful airplanes from the heavenly planets are compared here to the sky because they fly in the sky. The passengers are compared to the clouds. The beautiful damsels, the wives of the denizens of the heavenly planets, are compared to lightning. In summation, the airplanes with their passengers, which came from higher planets to Kailash, were very pleasant to look at. This is what's going on. We think, we're advanced. No. Not even close.
Right? No. Clunky airplanes.
But, we hear this kind of stuff. And this is just, I've used this analogy before. I think you didn't like this analogy in the past, Raghunath, but then I think you warmed up to it, but I'm not sure. I forget now.
Give me a second chance.
Okay. So, if we're hearing this, there's airplanes in other planets and they fly around, and also there are people that can fly from planet to planet without an airplane. That's mythology. That's ridiculous. So I always give the example of the iPhone, right? If you just go back, go back just a few centuries, right? And if you would have asked someone, and if you say we could say either a person from the past came to the present or we went to the past with an iPhone, right? Let's say a person from the past somehow mystically got transported into the present, and then they saw me holding this iPhone and they said, well, what is that piece of glass in your hand? I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's right out of Star Trek. I get it.
Yeah. I'd say, I can. It's a telephone, but it does like a lot of things. Like it takes photographs, for instance. What's a photograph? I just point it at you, and I touch it, and I get an image, like of you, and then you show them that image, and it's like not only like because they've seen drawings, and there are a few artists that can make things look realistic. But they've never seen a perfect image recreated like that instantly, And then I can talk to someone on the other side of the planet with this, like right now. That's impossible.
You couldn't do that. We couldn't do that 30 years ago.
People cannot do that. You can't talk to someone in Africa from America. That's absurd. It's mythology. It's ridiculous. But there are people that figured out how to do it. How do you do it?
Yeah.
Well, there's these waves that are floating through the air. What do you mean waves?
Yeah, I mean, I still can't figure out how a fax machine works. Like that. I was like, what? What?
I
A
don't-
fax?
I don't know if certain machines blow my mind. Like, you know what just really, I don't know, is a wonder to me. The printer, it's like that thing is dropping ink just like so fast. How does
Super
it drop?
fast.
Just like how does it do that? And still, it can't even accept paper. Like it screws up on the easy thing, like taking in the paper.
Right.
But
yeah.
but it does this other incredible, right?
That's a good one.
But yeah, it's dropping.
Screws
like,
up on the easy thing, taking in the paper.
yeah.
Got a paper jam again.
Yeah. So my point is that the idea that there are waves, if you tell someone there are waves in the air that people can access so that you can speak to someone on the other side of the planet, sounds as crazy and ridiculous as Prabhupada in this purport saying that there are people on other planets that just by their mantra can fly from one planet to another. That sounds absurd because we do not know how to do it. But
It all
there's a lot
sounds
of things that we
crazy
don't
until
know
someone
about.
does it.
That's right. And we're just like the little frog in the little well with our little experience, and we say, this is impossible. Get out.
Right on. Right on.
All right. So you like that analogy now?
I'm warming up to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
You told a good one that I liked too. It kind of blew my mind, but it was a good one.
Tell me.
I was this was years ago, and you were giving a class at Pure Yoga on the East Side.
Yeah.
And you said something like, imagine like if you go back a few hundred years, people didn't travel like they travel now, continent to continent. Usually you're not going to go too far from your home, and if you do, you don't come back because it's just so far and the journey is dangerous and so on. But imagine someone, came back from Africa to America and they were describing their experience there, and they say, oh, there's animals like you've never seen before.
I saw this horse with a really long neck eating the leaves from the trees.
Yeah. What do you mean long? Like how long? Like a little bit
my
longer?
horse has a long neck. No, really long.
Yeah.
And I saw this horse that was striped. Oh, my horse has a black neck and a white body. I mean, if you ever just see a zebra and you've never seen a zebra, they're quite fascinating.
Yeah,
Stripes
the way
on
that
a
you told
zebra?
it, you told the zebra part, and you said like it's black and white. Oh, you mean like kind of sort of black white? No, it's like a black stripe and then a completely white stripe. And people, but there are no horses like that.
Yeah.
Right? No, they do have them over there. Yeah, there's a horse with a neck that's so long. How long? Twice the size of our horse's neck. No, you don't understand. That neck is like 11, 12 feet long.
It's
impossible.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, we live in a very, very cloistered experience of reality.
Yeah.
Mm?
And then we become doubtful.
And we
that
think, everything I see
different is possible.
this is reality.
Yeah.
Right?
So
We're seeing
Prabhupada-
flowers we've never seen before. That's a
Fruits.
beautiful thing about Colombia because it's sort of in the mountains and it's sort of near the equator. You get these fruits you can't get anywhere in the world here.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And people are like, you've never tried the choo-choo? What? The choo-choo. Everybody eats the choo-choo here. Here, have a nice glass. I was like drinking a glass of juice, and I was like, what is this juice? It's you never have this juice? Everybody has this juice. There's fruits we've never eaten, tasted. We're stuck with like a banana. That's all we get, a banana and orange.
Okay.
That's our experience.
Yeah. So there's more out there. Bow down, mister. Just accept, that accept the possibility that there's all kinds of experience in this vast universe which we know practically nothing about. Right.
There's more than meets the eye.
There's more than meets the eye.
All right.
Okay. Note that
Text
down.
20
Mayor's not here. Bobby, you got to
No,
note that down.
Bobby's filling in for Mara here. I don't know where Mara.
Bobby's
Mara's
like, okay,
tied up
there's
in the
more
closet,
than meets
gagged.
the eye.
Let her free. Let her free. Okay. The airplanes of the heavenly denizens are bedecked. Okay. While traveling with the demigods,
While traveling, the
demigods passed over the forest known as Sogandika, which is full of varieties of flowers and fruits and desired trees. While passing over the forest, they also saw the region of Yakeshwara.
Who's your
In that-
Yakeshwara?
In that celestial forest, there were many birds whose necks were colored reddish.
Hold
and
it,
whose
Raghunath. Who's your Yakeshwara?
Yakeshwara, the lord of the Yakshas.
Oh, it's Yaksheshwara, actually.
Yaksheshwara is Shiva.
Nope. It's Kuvera.
Ooh, Yaksha.
Yaksheshwara.
Oh, he's the lord of the Yakshas.
Yeah, is Kuvera.
I thought he
his-
was a Yaksha. Of Yakshas, I am
Well,
Kubera.
he's the lord of them.
Isn't-
He's one of them and the Lord of them.
Is that the 10th chapter of Yakshas and Rakshasas? Yeah. I'm the god of wealth, Kubera.
There you go.
Boom. Got that. 10th chapter.
Boom. You got it now.
After you told me the answer.
Yeah. Okay, so Yaksheshvar is also known as Kuber, and he is the treasurer of the demigods. In the description of him in Vedic literature, it is stated that he is fabulously rich.
If Bobby's going to be here, let's put her butt on the hot seat.
Bobby?
She's
like,
Bobby.
No,
who are
I didn't sign up for
Unmute
this.
yourself and tell us who the sons of Kubera are.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. You got to unmute. We got to ask to unmute her.
They were bathing naked with the ladies in the river.
You have to unmute yourself, Bobby. There you go.
Manigriva,
Yeah.
Kubera.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Bobby. Yes. Yes.
I did get a little help from the gallery over here, but
Was that
wasn't in
Mara?
my mind.
That was pretty impressive, though. You got Monty Griva.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Excellent.
expecting that. Good job.
Excellent.
All right.
So
to work.
Prabhupada continues, it appears from these verses that Kailash is situated near the residential quarters of Kuvera. It is also stated here that the forest was full of desire trees. Desire trees, Raghunath. That's got to be complete mythology, right? That there's a tree that can fulfill your desires.
Bobby, do me a favor. Look up Yaksha. I want to know a definitive explanation of what the species known as Yaksha is.
And that you can go to Wikipedia or the Puranic Encyclopedia for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. In that celestial forest, there are many birds. I read that. All the atmospheric influences unsettled the
You haven't
forest.
read that one yet, Raghunath. I cut you off. We went back.
You cut me off. Where there's a lesson there. The lakes were abundantly decorated with crying swans, as well as strong stem lotus flowers. All these atmospheric influences unsettled the forest elephants, who flocked together in the sandalwood forest, and the blowing wind agitated the minds of the damsels. There were further
there for further sexual enjoyment.
Okay.
And the blowing wind agitated the minds of the damsels there for further sexual enjoyment. The atmosphere is so heavenly that it is hard not to get lost in it, right?
Makes you want to have sex. It's
apparently.
Yeah.
Yes. This is like, there's the heavenly planets where like there's the material enjoyment is just like so abundant and beautiful that you get lost in it. Then there's those higher planets of the sages, right? You know about that? Tapaloka, that kind of thing.
Where there's no enjoyment?
I'm not saying there's no enjoyment, but the enjoyment there is far more sattvic. It's like they're not caught up in sex. They're just like...
I got you.
Yeah.
They're more in like internal enjoyment. Yeah. They also saw that the bathing ghats, ghat is like a specific place where you go to bathe in a river or a lake. Mm-hmm. And the staircases were made of Vaidurya money. So in India, sometimes you'll see pictures of Varanasi with these stairs going into the Ganga. That's a bathing ghat. But here, they were not made of sandstone. They were made of Vaidurya money. Money is a type of jewels. I wonder if that's where we get the word money from. Bobby, get on that. Money.
Bobby,
right?
Money. Is there a connection? Money means jewel. Sometimes it also means like pearl. You can say pearl too. It's
like Kaustubha money.
The Kaustubha money. Yeah. Also, that turn over in Buddhism, right? Om Mani Padma. Om,
yeah, I'm the jewel of the lotus, which I don't know what that means.
The pearl. Yeah,
the jewel of the lotus. I chanted that for a while. Do you know that? That was one of my first mantra.
Because that's the way it was presented to me. Remember, I told you about that. I think I talked about it in the show once. I was outside this. I think it was Black Uhuru was playing at the Ritz, and I couldn't get in. I didn't have any money. And then one of those Buddhist monks came along with the cards, and they said, "Chant this mantra, and you'll get whatever you want." Right?
Yeah.
So we started chanting Om. What is it? Om Mani Padma.
Om Mani Padme Om. Om Mani Padme Padme Om. Yeah. Actually, no. Theirs is Namyo Renkyo. Get your Buddhist mantra straight, man.
I know. I think it was the other one.
Om Mani Padme Om doesn't give you whatever you want. Namyo Renkyo does.
This is a good Parmananda saying, Raghunath, when you used to chant that mantra, you would chant it really fast and high pitched.
I know. That's the way you're supposed to chant it. Om Mani Padme Om. Like that.
That must have been.
I did it. Parmananda thought I was crazy.
I think he was right. I think we're about out of time here, Raghu.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any news on
Bobby.
yakshas, Bobby?
Yeah, any yaksha news or money news?
So some yaksha news.
Okay, thank
There is
you.
there is a yaksha sculpture at the Met, actually.
Really?
What?
And it says that yakshas are male nature spirits and they are personifications of the natural world. Over time, they were worshipped as minor gods in both Buddhist and Hindu pantheons, often functioning as protectors of the earth's riches, and they became associated with wealth.
Yeah, and therefore Kuvera is
The Lord of the
them.
Yakshas. Out of Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Kubera, the Lord of Wealth. Thank you, Mara. Thank you, Bobby, filling in for
I'm
Bobby.
Mara.
sitting in for Mara.
Sitting in for Mara.
And what about any connection between money and money?
I will look up
We'll
that.
get tomorrow.
That's your homework.
That's my homework.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any takeaways today, Bobby?
Yes, on behalf of Mara.
She's so humble.
Okay.
She's like Bart. On behalf of Lord Ram, I will rule the kingdom.
On behalf of my dear Mara, the tubes of life float you down the river together for just a moment.
Oh, and then split up forever.
That is like a Hallmark card.
That's a Hallmark card.
Depressing one.
Bhagavatam is the convincer for those who resist spirituality.
Okay.
If it jumps on you, it's a higher power.
That's the Pantera.
There is always someone more powerful.
Yeah, except Krishna when you get to him.
Except Krishna.
But even he becomes overwhelmed by the love of the devotee. So there you go.
Life is a series of repeating lessons designed to make us realize there are higher powers than us.
That's right.
Stupidas.
Thank you.
Apologize wholeheartedly with complete conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
I'm
I'm a circus, not my monkeys.
We think we're advanced. ... Not even close.
Oh, nice.
It all sounds crazy until someone does it or sees it.
And Bobby got a lot of hashtags today. Is this
Mara,
Mara's work,
yeah.
or is this Bobby's work?
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Okay.
We live in a cloistered experience that makes us doubtful, accept the possibility that we don't know of what we don't know or haven't seen.
Too long for a t-shirt.
Too long for a t-shirt, but it was
Much
hard to
too long for a
condense
mug.
that.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what we got.
All right.
How about don't associate with high class goblins? That's what I got.
Oh yeah, don't associate with high
No,
class.
low class.
Perfect. We're gonna put that in.
But you see,
No.
Bobby, you have to learn how to the Mara's good at this. The last one she says in this kind of conclusive tone. So
Yeah, it's a conclusive tone, Mara's got.
Don't associate.
You did very good, Bobby, for your first.
it was good. It was good.
It was Mara's first time ever getting a villain.
I have a wonderful teacher. She's here.
She won't take any credit.
No, she takes no credit. I'm
humiliating.
easily replaceable. Parmananda's showed up for me, Jai Jagannath, but
There's no one quite
Yeah.
like Raghu, though.
oh, look at these two.
No one like.
Now,
Thanks
do you know
everybody
how
for
to do the
joining
dance
us.
cam, Bobby?
Okay, dance cam.
Okay, she's on it.
She'll figure this out. Thanks everybody for joining us. If you joined us late, welcome. If you'd like to join us on Zoom, do it. Get the codes from Bobby or Mara. Wisdom of the Sages 108@gmail.com. Who snuck in here later? Karen Franchi from Miami.
This little one. We got to get the
Harley
name
Brown.
for this little character.